Okay, we're in the engine compartment of a 1970 Challenger RT style convertible. Only this guy's a little different than a standard RT. This one has a V10 Viper engine, 488 cubic inches of Viper motor under the hood of this thing. Gives no indication that it's anything other than a stock looking RT Challenger convertible until you open the hood. And everything is done to the nth degree. The top of the radiator is chrome plated. The rest of it is still brass. The top of it is chrome plated brass. You have two K&N filter systems that obviously are a custom fabrication on the front of this thing. Chrome plated intake manifold. The entire intake on this vehicle is chrome plated. Two throttle bodies on the front of it. The valve pan cam covers on this particular vehicle are plumb crazy, just like the rest of the car. The custom built Viper designated shock tower strut brace, whatever you want to designate it on this vehicle, but it is a brace system to ensure structural integrity of the front end of this vehicle. It's custom built. It's a piece of U-channel chrome plated with Viper designation on it. Fantastic, fantastic setup. Viper ignition system on the firewall, back part of the engine. It does have power steering, it does have power brakes, and it does have air conditioning. So the car is very, very unique in that aspect. Has a dual stage master cylinder on it, just as it should. All the electronics are on the front of the engine, your fuses and everything. The electronic box is on the back part, mounted to the back of the strut brace. Dual electric fans on it. It has one behind here pulling and another one in the front pushing. Huge one in the front. It appears to be about, I don't know, 16, 18 inches in diameter. A new air conditioning condenser in the front. This is a fresh build, and I'll explain at the end of our video how this vehicle actually came about. Under hood pad on it. The underneath of the hood is painted purple, just the way it should be. Inner fender panels with the original fender tag on it yet are painted plumb crazy, but not just plumb crazy. It's finished to the same finish that the outside of the vehicle is. Really, really high-end show quality vehicle. This is 488 cubic inches of Viper motor making a ton of horsepower coupled to the 6-speed Viper transmission. So you've got a fantastic, fantastic drive line in this vehicle. Everything on it is custom done, and everything it is new. The serpentine belt system is new in the front of it. I don't see a single thing that's leaking or dripping or seeping anything on the vehicle. Fantastic engine compartment. That was going to get you some good high-resolution photographs of this engine in this compartment so that you can see the precision that it was fit in here with. Fantastic engine compartment. Hi, your Hanksters in Daytona Beach, Florida. And today we have a really, really special guest for you. It's kind of a one-off vehicle that was produced in-house by Chrysler, actually. I'll give you a little history at the end of the video, but we're going to go over the aesthetics on the outside of it now and show you every little tiny thing I can pick out on this guy. Pretty unique vehicle. Paint on this thing is not driver quality. It is definitely show quality. It looks like a foot deep, plumb crazy, with the correct style, semi-flat black hood treatment on it. The fit, fender to the hood, is just exemplary. It could not be any better. Look at this. It's just insanely well done. Same thing on this side. The gap is so precise the whole way from the front of the hood clean to the windshield base. And again, the paint on this thing is just astronomically great. Look, there's no deviation whatsoever on the fitment of the front end of this car. Absolutely none. The grille itself, this is supposed to be an argent finish here. This is finished in chrome or highly polished, one of the two. I can't really determine which. The grille itself in the front is black instead of being argent, a little bit more accent to the vehicle. Bumper fitment is right on. It could not fit any better than it does. It has the correct style stainless hood pin system that Chrysler used on these vehicles. Dodge designation in the front. Chrome on the bumper is just beautiful. It's just as though it was just put on. There's no scratches or marks or anything on it. Absolutely none. The front valance with your parking light assemblies in them. Parking lights are amber and clear just the way they should be. It's tough to see, but there is a pan underneath that goes onto the front K-member, your engine cradle, that says Viper on it. It's etched out and it says Viper in purple. Challenger RT designation inset into the grille. Fantastic front end on this car. I can't even imagine how you could make it any more dramatic or any more precise than it is. There's not one little deviation of fitment on this thing in the front. Absolutely none. It's flawless on the front. It absolutely is. Let's do the side, see what we can show you there. Okay, driver's side of our Challenger RT style convertible. Side marker light in the front. Fitment is absolutely precise. You can't even get a fingernail underneath it anywhere. Wheel lip trim, same way, just as nice and clean as can possibly be. Challenger RT designation. And look at this. Clean down to the rocker panel, just as nice as you'd ever want to find. Absolutely fantastic. Trim around the front window with the convertible, nice as you'd ever want to find. Correct wiper arms and correct blades for this guy too. It has a set of custom speakers for this sound system in it that are on the dash, and you can see that they're a real high-end speaker through the grading that they have in it. Dash pad itself is absolutely flawless. There's no cracks or deviations in it whatsoever. No warpage from heat. Just as nice as can be. The VIN tag, nice and clean, and correct fasteners with it. Where the dashboard transitions onto the base of the windshield is painted plumb crazy done in the base of it, just the way it should be from the factory, and absolutely flawless. Beautiful fitment on this vehicle. Obviously, convertible top, and it's as new condition. It's the real heavy vinyl that Chrysler used instead of the cheaper plastic that most of the other manufacturers use. This was a real heavy, high-grade vinyl that they used. Dual sport mirrors on it. Chrome in this case instead of being color matched. Just what they chose to put on it. Window wipes, whiskers, just as sweet as could possibly be. The beading itself is just as nice and tight to the door as you'd ever want to hope to find. Finish on the door. Wow, look at this, look. There's absolutely no deviation on that. It's hard to believe. I don't know how they did it, but they got these panels to fit so precisely. There's no way they fit this way from the factory. I can assure you that. I mean, we have a lot of E-body cars, and the fitment is good on them. Not like this. This is, someone spent a lot of time making this guy the way it is. Tinted glass in the front, I forgot to mention, tinted glass on the sides. Chrome around the, stainless steel around the base of the convertible top. No dents, no dingies whatsoever. Back windows nice and clear. Plastic. Under lip molding the same way. Oh, by the way, there is all tin. Side marker lamp in the back. Again, tight fitment. Very, very precise. No patina or anything on it. The paint on this car is absolutely gorgeous. You can't see it in the video, but the paint on this car is not driver quality. This is approaching a show quality paint job. The entire vehicle must be cleared because I can see them, but I can't feel the stripe around the back of it. Bumblebee style stripe that should be on the car for an RT. 15-inch rally wheels. Everybody's choice of a wheel on these vehicles. Everyone likes rally wheels with the correct style, margin centers, and trim rings. BFG tires, of course, just a tire of choice for anybody that does a muscle car restoration. The side of this car is laser straight. There is not a deviation. There is not an imperfection in the paint. When I'm standing here looking at it, I don't see any doors. It looks like one solid side on the vehicle. Really a great vehicle so far. Let's go out back, see if we can find something there for you. Okay, back end of our little 70 RT plumb crazy convertible. You can see the fitment of the rear deck mimics that of the hood in the front. It's just absolutely precise. Same gap the entire perimeter of this thing. And look at the way the trim fits, just as though the one in the front was. And no dents, dings, marks, absolutely nothing on this vehicle so far, none. Challenger RT designation on the back. And again, it's cleared. The entire vehicle is cleared over because I can see the stripes, but I can't feel them. There's no edge to them. Optional wing on the back end of this car. They're supposed to be flat black, and that one is. That's just the way it should be from the factory. The correct tail light assemblies on this vehicle for 1970, and everything finely polished, and everything has a finite fit and finish to it. There's not one little deviation on any of this. Bumper fitment. Absolutely right on the money again. Quadrant of exhaust tips out the back, the way Dodge chose to do it in 1970. So you got 4 exhaust tips coming off of it. Chrome on the back bumper is just absolutely a foot deep, just like it is on the front. Little bumperette bottoms. Nice fitment on them, nice and clean. Rear valance has no pulls or any marks or any deviations whatsoever on it. The lenses they appear to be polished. Normally they're not this shiny. And you have your backup light, but the taillight lenses themselves and the backup light have a fine polished finish to it. So they shine like the paint on the car does. Not one deviation so far in this thing. I don't see anything that's out of place in it. I didn't find any chips or marks or dings or imperfections at all to this point. We got one more side to go, and then we got a exemplary car. Okay, one more side to go here, passenger side. Again, all cleared, look. Fitment of the marker light, just as precise as can be. Dodge quick fuel system on it. Trim around the base of the convertible top on this side. A little dingy right here. No car is perfect. We always find something. A little dingy right there. Something fell against it, something dropped against it. Trim around the wheel well on this side. And again, all tin the way it's supposed to be. Look at this door fitment, the rocker panel. Unbelievable. Chrysler Air Temp designation on the back window. Tinted glass on the sides. White whiskers just as nice as could be. Again, our other right-hand mirror. Forgot to mention on the other side, the door handles, of course, are just flawless the way they should be. No patina whatsoever on them. Paint and fit on this door is just absolutely fantastic. Look, unbelievable. Pentastar, Chrysler, RT, Challenger. Wheel lip molding. Fender where it goes onto the front valance, it's the same on that side too. There's absolutely no deviation whatsoever. The fitment is just very precise. Front marker light the same way you came to get your fingernail around it. The paint on this car is just, I can't really describe how nicely this car is finished. The fit on the doors, the hood, the deck lid, everything on this vehicle is fit to a very precise degree. It's a very special car. We have a little bit of a history behind it. Obviously, it's not a standard Dodge RT convertible. This vehicle has a 488-inch Viper V10 engine in it, with the mated to the Viper 6-speed transmission. Took a little bit of work to make that fit into the vehicle, but they did it. The car was commissioned by, according to the information we have, by James Holden, the CEO of Chrysler at that time. And it was done in-house by Chrysler techs. It wasn't done by backyard mechanics. This guy was done in-house at Chrysler Corporation. Whenever he decided to go ahead and liquidate the car, it ended up in a museum in Pennsylvania. From that museum, Kevin ended up getting the car. Kevin actually bought the car for himself. We stole it from Kevin. So we have the car right now. We're videoing it and we're going to put it up for sale. The car itself runs and drives and does everything you would expect a V10 Viper to do, only in a Challenger convertible. The vehicle is done to a real finite degree. You can see we went over everything. The paint on this car, the fit, the finish, and you'll see the interior here very shortly. The car is just one of one. There's not another one out there like this. There's never been another one produced like this. This one is a car produced in-house at Chrysler, so it's not just some car that was thrown together. It runs and drives and does everything as it should. It's a car that you can use on a daily basis if you want. It's not going to be a cheap car because it was an expensive build to begin with. The car itself is a show quality vehicle. It's something you can take and put on display, and you are going to have the only one. There's not going to be another one on the tarmac the same as this one. You've got the only one in town. The car is available here at Hanksters in Daytona Beach, and again, it's the only one that there is, so you're not going to shop this one around. Take a look at it. It's going to be very nominally priced for what this conversion is, and it's a vehicle that you're going to be the only owner of one here at Hanksters, Daytona Beach, Florida. Well, we're inside our very, very special 70 RT style Challenger convertible with the Viper V10 driveline in it. Fantastic car, really fantastic car. It does have a power top too, by the way. Forgot to mention that. Again, the dashboard, there's no marks or cracks or deviations whatsoever on it. Somehow they managed to fit a Viper instrumentation system into this vehicle. They used the Chrysler standard instrument cluster, and they put the speedometer and an aftermarket tack with a face to match. There's no name on the tack, so it must be a custom-made face for this tack that does function as it should. And it has a quadrant of auxiliary gauges with it. You know, it has the temperature, fuel, amp, and oil pressure. Viper steering wheel in it also, leather-wrapped Viper wheel. Door panels, white, and you can see the interior itself is white. The carpeting is black loop pile carpeting, would have been standard for a Dodge Challenger. The kick panels are white to match the door panels and the rest of the accents inside. The seats themselves are Viper seats done in white. And the back seat, same way. It's made to look like a match for the front seats. It's not the standard interior on a Viper with the pleats in it, or Challenger with the pleats in it. This particular one has a matching style block pattern rear seat to match the front seats. Front seats have some really large bolsters on them to hold you in place on this vehicle, and once you drive it, you'll understand why. The boot itself is white to match the rest of the interior. Custom made also. New clips on it, new everything. Sun visors, absolutely like new. There's no stitching coming loose or anything on it. And again, the door panels are nice and white, and the panels in the back themselves, which are usually in some degree of deterioration on the convertibles, Challengers and Cuda convertibles. These are absolutely flawless. Original armrest styles that are molded, not just recovered with vinyl. The chrome door handles themselves and your window cranks, front and back, are all new. Key to the whole operation here, a 6-speed shifter. It has a Hurst handle on the top of it. High-grade, high-end radio in it. I don't know the manufacturer, but it does have a high-grade sound system installed in this vehicle. All your original air conditioning ductwork is still intact, just the way it should be. This car is one of one. It's not a car that you're going to duplicate. No matter how you look, you're not going to find another one done to this degree. It's available here at Hanksters, and we encourage everyone to come down and take a look at the cars that we put up on our site. This car, even if you're not going to buy it, this is worth a trip just to take a look at this guy, because it's so special, especially when you open the hood and see the engine compartment of this. It looks like a standard RT convertible until you open that hood, or until you start it. Those are the two indicators right off the bat there. But it is available here at Hangsters. No matter where you're at, get on a plane, come down here, take a look at this, because this is a vehicle that was on display in a museum. It was assembled at the Chrysler facility by the Chrysler techs for James Holden, the at that time CEO of Chrysler Corporation. One of one here at Hangsters. Okay, we have a Viper-powered Challenger convertible. Really, really neat. Let's try the wipers, see if they work. Wipers do work. Okay. Left turn signal working, blinking. Right turn signal blinking. About 14 volts charging. A little less than a half tank of fuel. 60 pounds oil pressure, and we're up to about 150 degrees. Tachometer also is functioning. We have a speedometer that starts at 20 mile an hour and goes to 200, so we'll show you that working here shortly. Horn. Let's see if we got a horn. We have a horn that works. Day-night mirror. Devin, what do you think? Radio? Do you know how to make that work? I don't know. Well, it's lighting up. It's got a sound system in it, so we're going to assume that it does work. How it works, I have no idea, but I'm not a radio guy. Let's see. Let's go for a ride. See if this guy works okay. Pulling out, a lot of traffic today. Direction, but steering's fine, goes down the road straight. Let's try brakes, no hands. Stop straight. Back to running car. Nice smooth car. Pulls real nice. Straight as an arrow. The brakes work great. That was a quick 90. It's down now, but that was a quick 90 mile an hour there. Nice car. Straight as an arrow, runs good, drives good, stops well. Very, very smooth. This motor's like driving an electric drill. Very smooth operation on the car. Tranny shifts the same way, just as smooth as silk. We're underneath our 1970 Dodge Challenger RT style convertible. Kind of a real special car here. Try to point out every little tiny thing that I can on it. A lot of fabrication done under here. It does have the conventional disc brake front end on it though. New shocks on it. A set of real heavy duty looking tie rod ends on it, both sides. A custom built K-member to house the 488 cubic inch Viper 10-cylinder engine that's in this vehicle. You can see there's a custom fabricated steering arm. Has power steering, power disc brakes. 10-cylinder Viper engine with the conventional exhaust that Viper has, going into 2.5-inch pipes off of the custom-built collectors that came off the cast iron manifolds of the standard Viper. The frame has been reinforced in the front here because of the additional power and the additional weight on the nose of this vehicle from that 10-cylinder Viper engine. So you have a lot of custom fabrication here. The floor pans had to have been widened out a little bit to fit this 6-speed transmission in it, also lengthwise. So again, the tunnel area and the floor pans are fabricated to accept that. The subframes themselves are the original style from Chrysler. It has a couple of torque boxes welded in place to give it some structural rigidity from the fender well drop downs to the front subframes. Also has a structural piece added from the transmission mount section of the subframe assemblies and subframe connectors on them. Again, the floor pans are fabricated. They were cut, and the tunnel and floor pans in the front of this vehicle fabricated to accept this engine and transmission. Torsion bar suspension in the front is just the way it was from Chrysler. A couple of real heavy-duty type subframe connectors for the front subframes connecting to the rear subframes so that there's no chassis flex to it. From this point on, it's pretty much a standard Dodge Challenger RT style vehicle. In fact, it has it is a convertible, so it does have the boxed in torque boxes in the front here for your spring shackles. 2.5-inch pipes going into 2 Flowmaster style mufflers. New universal joint in the front. It looks like a custom drive shaft also for this particular application. The engine has absolutely no leaks whatsoever on it. You can see a huge Viper aluminum oil pan and the aluminum housing for the 6-speed transmission. No leaks whatsoever anywhere on the entire driveline of this vehicle, including the rear axle, which you're going to see here in a second. The rear subframes, the same as the front sections that were undisrupted, have no marks whatsoever on them. Again, the subframe connectors hooking onto them at this point. Multi-leaf rear springs in the rear, and they have a nice arch to them yet. 8 3/4-inch heavy-duty Chrysler rear end in this vehicle. I don't know the gear ratio. I'm going to guess it's about a 355. Just by driving the car, it feels like about a 355 gear. It doesn't matter with that engine. It wouldn't matter with gear ratios in this car. You don't need anything deep to make it go. It has more than ample power. New shocks in the rear also. Drum brakes in the rear. No discs in the rear of this guy. It does have drums. Subframes going up over the rear axle are real nice and undisrupted. The connector in the back the same way. Quad exhaust out the back. Original fuel tank also. That's surprising, huh? Somehow they've adapted that fuel tank to the fuel injection system on this vehicle. They managed to do it somehow. I'm going to call these 2 1/4 inch. They're 2.5 up here, but I'm going to call these 2 1/4, transitioning up over the rear differential and out the back on the quad exhaust. Let's see. Parking brake still hooked up and functional. Drop downs in the quarters are just really, really nice. No rust deterioration whatsoever. Same as the floor pans in the trunk, still to be apparently original and in nice condition. At least from under here, they look to be original yet. The undercarriage of this vehicle is pretty much original Dodge, except from the tail shaft of the transmission forward. The floor pans have been modified to accept that huge drive line that's in the front. Again, you can see the exhaust system. You can see no leaks whatsoever. It's a nice car. It's really tastefully done. It's really well done. And it runs like you really can't imagine. The car does get the job done. It's available here at Hankster, so got some information here on the undercarriage. We're going to do a total presentation on it, and you'll have all the ammunition you need to consider the purchase of the car.